The content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. And we're live from the Blue Mist studio of the basement. How's it going, Mr. Helikai?
Wonderful. How are you doing?
Dude, I am so freaking tired, but I'm doing pretty excellent, honestly. Like, really excellent. Excellente, as they say.
Excellente. Escalante. That just reminds me of Escalante. You ever been there?
Escalante, the city? Where's that located at? Is that in California?
No, it's here. It's in Utah.
Oh, it is in Utah?
Escalante.
I have not.
Escalante.
Escalante? No, I have not. So
I've heard there's nice. I haven't been there either, but I've heard that there's nice hiking out there. So
we'll have to check it out sometime because my wife and I, we are loving the hiking thing.
Anytime you like invite me to go outside, I'll be like, hike? Let's do it.
Let's go get some sunshine.
I want that vitamin D.
Yes. We love the vitamins.
In comes the that's what she said jokes.
That's what she said.
So I was listening to last week's podcast when like we were all sitting. I don't remember what Rianne said, but we were all sitting here. She said something, and then you and I are both like, "That's what she said." Like in our heads.
I was trying to hold it in because
me too. But then like you said something else. You were like, "I declare bankruptcy," and I was like, I just lost it when you said that because I was like, "That's great. Don't say the thing, but just say something else that references it." That's amazing.
Well, I wanted to make sure that the people that were listening got the reference before I even said it. So I know it was like a pretty major setup. But
like everybody makes eye contact. Everybody looks into the camera and we're like,
everybody knows what this is. Everybody knows where it's from.
Nobody's going to know. They're going to know. That's a TikTok thing.
Yeah. I need to be on the TikTok more.
I spend way too many hours just scroll. So I was doing something else unproductive. I was playing I didn't realize that Nintendo Switch came out with Starlink. Did you ever play those games at all? Like the Star Fox games?
Star Fox, yes. Yeah, actually
so,
we did play the Star Fox games.
Yeah, so I didn't know that like a couple of years ago that Nintendo Switch came out with a new Star Fox game.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know it either. And then I went through the Nintendo store and I was like going through sales and it was like Starlink, $15. And I was like, what's this? And I'm going through it. I'm like, oh my God, it's Fox. Like, yeah. So immediately bought it. And this went on to a whole different topic. So I was playing that. And then I was like, my phone went off. I got a notification because I like send TikToks to friends and like they'll send TikToks to me. So I got a notification that I got a TikTok. And the next thing I know, I'm scrolling through TikToks for like the next hour.
Oh, wow.
So unproductive. But
I really do need to like get on TikTok and actually really, I'm kind of like on this thing where I'm portraying myself as this like untechnological boomer that doesn't know how to TikTok. And so they're just like these really short, like kind of funny TikToks. They're kind of cringy, but
you're close to 40. So, I mean, we like those of us that are like millennial Generation Z are like, yeah, you are a boomer. Well, even though you're definitely not. You're Generation X, I think.
No, I actually just made it within the millennial age.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But I think Rianne did not.
I think I got like,
like 82 was the start of the millennial age.
So there's like this huge argument that like 1996 to like 2000 is that 5-year gap between millennials and Generation Z. It's like right in the middle. So I'm 97.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, like
so you're Z, right?
I think I am Gen Z, but I grew up with a lot of things that are like more on the millennial side, but I also did not grow up with a lot of things that are.
Oh yeah, because your parents are younger.
No, my parents are actually older.
Oh really?
So,
I did not realize.
I say that no, my parents are.
Like how old were
older.
they when you were born?
They were in their 30s.
They're in the 30s. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn off the AC because it's freaking cold, and I cranked it so that we'd have it nice and cool. And then once it turns off, like it'll be good for the audio. So.
I was so frustrated today because
Why?
I'm looking outside, and it's like all cloudy. It's super windy. It looks beautiful. You go outside, and it's like 95 degrees out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't like this.
For a moment, I felt like I was back in Phoenix, Arizona.
I
know it's not that hot, but it felt like it was that hot.
I felt bamboozled. I was like,
I thought this was southern Utah. I thought we were at the same elevation as northern Utah.
No, I mean, like, granted, like southern Utah still hot, but I mean, like, to be fair,
true.
I would take Cedar City weather over St. George weather any day because I know down there it is like 20 degrees hotter right now.
Yeah, there's a noticeable degree change for sure.
Yeah, you know, like when you pull up the weather and like it has that disclaimer, it's like environment may be unhealthy or air quality is not healthy or whatever. I don't remember exactly what it says.
Whatever the thing he said.
But it says like unhealthy air quality or something like
in St. George. Oh, I'm kind of surprised about that.
Well, it doesn't say it now, but I remember like when, like way back when we were living in like Maryland, like that disclaimer came up all the time on the weather app. It was like
that weather was absolutely terrible.
I felt like I was in the shower
all the time. Yeah.
It was like just working in a garage. Anytime I had to go in a garage, I was like,
I don't want to.
I don't want this. We're talking about like installing security, home security.
Yeah.
But
oh man, those were some interesting days. I ponder on those days every once in a while.
Same. I always do.
Mostly good. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, I could have done some things differently. But I'm always like that, kind of reflecting on the past and being like, I probably could have handled that a little bit better. But
see, it's
just like whatever.
Yeah, I missed that job because it was like I always got the opportunity. You're always doing something with your hands, and I love that. It was always like very therapeutic. It felt great.
And you're always problem solving because every house is like very unique to the next.
Yeah, and now I work with people, so it's like
so it's a different kind of mental strength.
No,
that
but
we're
like
lifting.
Working with kids is fun because like you can spend like a good couple hours just playing with Legos, and you can call that. What your work hours were, which is great. Like I'll play with Legos. Shoot.
Yeah. So do you use those as like building opportunities to like for kids to like learn and grow about stuff, or like engineering, or what's the purpose of it?
Yeah. So building Legos is actually like it's good because it's a way to like keep their hands busy. It's a way to get them like thinking with their creativity.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, that makes sense.
That's There's a lot of things that we try to do in our office with a lot of like artistic stuff and creativity. Like we try to get them to draw a lot. We get them to work on puzzles. We get them to work on like Legos. I love playing Jenga with the kids because it's just like it's just something really fun to do.
Do you do full size Jenga with like 2x4s or just Jenga? Just regular Jenga.
Regular Jenga. Yeah.
So 2x4s is kind of scary.
But yeah.
Because I've seen people like make their own Jengas out of 2x4s, and it's kind of sketchy because
I would love that.
Because like if one of those slams on your toe, like even from like 3-4 feet up in the air, that's gonna hurt. It's not gonna feel good.
I mean, no.
I mean, I'm screaming out in pain just in my mind, like just thinking about one of those things smashing one of my toes.
Go step on a Lego. I hope a 2x4 falls on your foot.
Oh, I miss Legos. I absolutely miss Legos. That was something I did all the time, was build Legos.
We should do that for a guy's night. Just go and get a set of Legos.
Bro, that would be fun.
Just like be like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Oh, want to go get some Legos?
We're going to go
to Walmart.
$250 worth of Legos and build them.
Go to Walmart and it's just like, all right, you buy a set, I buy a set. We're going to combine them and make something absolutely ridiculous.
Like growing up, we legit had so much Legos. We filled like one of those old school like picnic baskets. It's like legit, like maybe like a like. It's kind of hard to describe, but like whatever this diameter is.
Yeah, I get you.
And it was like a foot and a half, 2 feet deep. And basically what we would do is we'd have like an old sheet and we'd put all the Legos in the sheet. So when we're all done building stuff, we would just pick it up with the sheet and put it inside of the basket. And then we put it in the closet.
Yeah, I remember like we had a bin. We had a couple bins just full of Legos.
Oh, they're so expensive.
I know. Like
Why?
a little box is worth like $20, and why does it need to be that expensive? I know there's a lot that you can do with it, but like,
yeah,
come on, man.
You're playing. Like, you're not paying for the plastic pieces. You're paying for the plans and the engineering of creating something that you can build step by step.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what you're paying for.
But yeah, I remember like I had just bins full of just Lego pieces and sets from Star Wars sets, Harry Potter stuff. I don't remember what other sets I had, but I remember those two were like the biggest ones because that was what I was into most growing up was Harry Potter and Star Wars. I have to think of what else I had. It's been years since I've had my Legos, but
I think the ones that we usually got were the space Lego sets.
Oh yeah.
So there was a lot of black and dark gray and blues. There's the green and red like little like laser pieces that they had. So like we would make a lot of spaceships is what we did a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of spaceships, large and small.
Did you ever see like the Lego movie?
Yeah.
Spaceship!
Both of those movies, honestly, were really fun.
I never saw the second one.
The second one was pretty decent. Like they were both fun.
I have a problem with sequels.
I think we all do.
The only sequel,
it's a cash grab most of the time.
Well, yeah, but
except for A Quiet Place 2.
I was gonna say there are a lot of sequels that turn out really great. There are a lot that just don't.
This is true.
Empire Strikes Back will always be the greatest sequel of all time.
Absolutely. You want to know why? It was a different director. Because Lucas, he was having like chest pains. He basically was having like panic attacks and stuff like that, and he was like overly worked and overly stressed. So he had to step away from his second film. Shoot, and so he brought in Anyways, another director, and he directed the second one, which was Empire Strikes Back. And that will always be my most favorite Star Wars movie because that guy can tell stories through the characters and get out of them what he needs to tell the story.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm always
That's
like
why
worried.
It's like night and day from like New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, big change, and then The Last Jedi.
I'm always worried whenever I hear like a franchise is getting a different director, because it can either be really amazing or really crap. Like, you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. Like, take the sequel trilogy for example. Started out with
the what trilogy?
The sequel trilogy.
For
Star
trilogy.
Wars for Star Wars.
Oh, specifically for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were talking about a different movie. I was like, I don't think I've seen that trilogy.
No, I'm talking about like The Force Awakens and like.
So, the newest ones. Okay.
Yeah. So like, because it started off with J.J. Abrams, and then Rian Johnson came on and directed The Last Jedi, and then they went back to J.J. Abrams and
for Force Awakens.
I forgot. The last Rise of Skywalker. I do this thing in my head where I pretend those movies don't exist, and in doing so I forget their titles. So
I mean,
here I am talking about them.
They weren't as bad as like The Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, and whatever the like Rise of the Sith or something. I don't remember that.
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. Yes. I just Sithed my pants.
I'm going to disagree with that because with like the prequels with the prequel trilogy, they get a lot of hate, understandably so. But if you watch Clone Wars, like that show fills in so many of the gaps and makes a lot of it gives more
backstory to the originals.
Yes, and it adds a lot more depth to the characters. Or is depth the right word? But
well, definitely depth to who is the bounty hunter, Jango Fett, that guy.
Yeah, but like Anakin Skywalker, if you watch him in the prequels and like those movies, whiny brat.
Oh yeah.
You watch him in like the Clone Wars, the TV show, he's a real hero. Like you are actually rooting for him, and watching that show actually makes you kind of sad that he turns out to be a monster. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing. I love George Lucas as a creative asset to the Star Wars films. But as far as like a good director and storyteller, I think he lacks a lot in that. I think he's really good about like being an idea guy and coming up with like technology and characters, but as far as like having those actors portray those characters, I feel like it's very what's the word? Dry?
I don't
lacking
know.
Emotion?
I don't know. I don't blame Hayden Christensen. I don't blame Natalie Portman. Ewan McGregor did great.
No, it's a direction issue, I think.
It's the direction, and it's just the script. Like the writing of the script was not like you can't connect with that as much as you can with like
yeah. I think the dialogue was definitely lacking in quite a few places. But even with bad dialogue, if you have a good actor just, saying like, barely legible and understanding words,
yeah,
they can still do an okay job.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is just directing, and I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
And I feel that reflected from the originals to those prequels.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we got into Star Wars,
but also like, yeah, we'll get into the actual topic.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah,
but
we gotta update ourselves and kind of get in the flow a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, like like you don't start a podcast like be like, all right, let's get down to business.
Yeah, you can.
But anyways, with the prequels, like when those prequels were coming out, I'm sure there was a ton of pressure around them because like Star Wars at that time was known as, it still is, it was like known as one of like the greatest franchises to ever exist, right?
Oh yeah.
And then like the
originals for sure.
Mm-hmm, the 1999 Phantom Menace comes around. There's obviously a lot of pressure around that because it's just like, okay, well, got to live up to the hype, But
well, and unfortunately, you can't have a film be solely riding on the CGI and the exciting fight scenes and stuff like that. It has to have a good story.
Yeah.
Like it has to have a accumulation of all of the elements that make a good movie. It can't just be like one or the other, or have really good dialogue but the CGI is crap. Like it has to be altogether like well-rounded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I agree
too.
I don't think like the story behind the rise of Darth Vader, or however you want to word it, like Anakin's story didn't start until like the Clone Wars series was released. Because you can go with like Qui-Gon's story and how Obi-Wan became Anakin's master, but like ultimately Anakin's story started with like the Clone Wars series. So
yeah. Well, I think it's also hard to add to a story that's already like in place. Like, and try to work around everything that's already been established and then add to it or bring more understanding or depth to what we already know.
Yeah.
So I get it. It's tough. But I think also like the direction was just, make everything flashy and make everything, look good.
Also like Star Wars, Lucas has said himself, like when he made Star Wars, like it was meant for kids.
Yeah.
Like that's
what it was.
Yeah,
I think the original, the way he pitched it before, before he got the okay to, the money and stuff to get it started, was that it was kind of like what were the space stories back when he was growing up? I'm trying to think right now.
I know Foundation isn't super well known. Have you ever heard of that?
The Foundation?
No, like the story Foundation.
The story Foundation?
It's like a novel series. But I know
I have not heard of it.
So Star Wars pulled from that a lot. That's actually that's going to be an Apple TV series, Foundation.
Oh, interesting.
Star Wars pulled from that. I think I don't remember what else like was pulled from it, but like I know a lot of like stories that talk about like the universe and like space and stuff like that. A lot of stories came from Foundation.
Oh, interesting.
So if you haven't heard of it, look it up.
This is a really old reference, but I think it was pitched like it was like kind of like a Buck Rogers like TV series, but with laser swords. Like I think is how he originally pitched it.
The word
and Buck Rogers is like, what is that? 50s, 60s, somewhere around there.
The word laser sword is like the great value lightsaber.
But that's like, how they were described.
Mom, can we go originally. And get lightsabers?
Laser swords.
Mom, can we go get lightsabers? And she's like, we have lightsabers at home. And
they're called laser swords. They're the poor man's lightsaber. Buck Rogers. Buck Rogers is a science fiction character created by Philip Francis Nolan. The novel Armageddon of 1980.
Buck Rogers. This is Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes' kid.
So it was an adapted comic strip from the 1929s. They had a radio series in 1932. They also had a film and television series as well as other formats. When was the film and television? Oh, there's also a role-playing game on it? What? The film premiered, a 10-minute Buck Rogers film premiered 1993 and 1934 on the World's Fair in Chicago. I could have sworn it was later than that, but wow. Shows you how much I know about Star Wars in the past. Oh, the television series, 1950s. I'm doing some Wikipedia on the fly here. That's what it like somewhere in the 1950s.
Wikipedia is the most reliable source, right?
I have my reservations on the internet. It's kind of sketchy nowadays. It used to be a very good source for all information and truth, and now somewhere. I want to say somewhere in the mid-2000s, like the mid to late 2000s, it started becoming more and more misinformation pieces and like telling basically lies to misinform people.
Tell me lies.
So a good example of that, Rianne and I, we got into like a little tiff about the way to consume fluids around or with your consumption of food, which is better. And I went to several different websites and each one gave me a different perspective.
Yeah. Sounds normal.
So yeah, I mean it's now normal nowadays, but back in the day, it was actually a source of information of truth. And so you could go to the internet and be like, oh, this is actually real. Kind of like, well, before your time, we actually would go to like the Encyclopedia Britannica, which was our Wikipedia back in the day.
Back in my day, we had to go to the library and find our sources. We didn't have no computers in our pocket, couldn't search up anything on no Gawaggle or whatever you're calling it.
Well, damn, Cletus, I had to walk uphill both ways in the snowstorms going to school. That was actually pretty good.
You had to take the bus. Back in my day, I had to walk to school with my bare feet.
in your bare feet.
All these, you see, you're over here getting pedicures. I'm not messing up my calluses. No, sir.
Well, back in my day, we used to call the Twitters when we used to yell at the ladies in the night. What? I don't know what I'm talking about.
We didn't call anybody over a cell phone. We just